So, while you have all reached many different heights in your lives, while during our peaks, we often tend to bask in happiness, laughter, joy. What about our lows? The grass on the other side, the dark ages. We often tend to bury ourselves into this deep and what seems endless pit of despair. Now, we've all been there in some form. Either it be a heartbreak, a failure, a loss, an illness, or simply a disappointment. This is an inevitable and undeniable aspect of human experience, and not to mention personal growth as well. Most often tend to avoid, endure, or simply ignore their problem. They simply run away from it with no plan. And this is certainly not the best approach and mindset one should have. I have to admit, yes, pain does have a heavy load. It often feels like a dark cloud, a crushing weight. It leaves you feeling isolated, vulnerable, overwhelmed, simply helpless. And yes, in such moments, in such times in one's life, it is easy for one to lose themselves in the sorrow, to lose themselves in the chaos, and to believe that, this might be the end to their story. But this is not the case, as long as they keep going. This reminds me of something. I've been in a similar situation once, during exam season, when it's stressful, hectic, chaos. My friend gave me a word of advice, a piece of advice, that to view this period as a tunnel. So let's say you're stressed or you're struggling with something. I want you to picture yourself in a tunnel. At the moment, in the present, yes, it will feel dark, it will feel isolated, it will feel suffocating, rather endless. But as long as you keep going, as long as you keep taking those small steps, light will come. Therefore, ease will come through perseverance, strength, and time, as time does heal. Now let's shift our perspective, let's shift our point of view. How do we see pain? Let's start to look at pain, such periods of hardship in our life, as catalysts. For those who don't know, catalysts are simply something that speeds up a process. So why not we look at it that in all of its discomfort and chaos lies meaning, just waiting like a treasure to be found. When I tell you to shift your perspective on pain, I'm not asking you to deny the entire existence and reality of pain in itself. I'm asking you to rather view it as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for change, and an opportunity for self-discovery. One thing I've seen is that pain, more often, it can illuminate our strengths, expose our vulnerabilities, force us to confront the uncomfortable truths, not just about ourselves, but the world around us as well. One thing that I've also noticed, one thing that I've also observed, is that in a group setting, in a community, pain, going through hardships, really feeling this emotion, can cultivate empathy. Because as we've jumped through our own hurdles in life, broken through our own walls, we've often become more attuned to the suffering of others. So this shared human experience, this shared human emotion, can foster deeper and stronger connections. It can also instill in us a greater desire to help dilute the stress of those around us as well. One thing that I've seen, that some of the most remarkable triumphs are often born from the very desire to prevent others from experiencing the same hurt an individual experienced. So such things open so many new doors and pathways into one's life. Example, this could be a connection, this could be a relationship, this could be a job opportunity, a work opportunity, or simply just exposure to new, more original experiences. Now, one must remember that life is a journey. It's not a race. It's a marathon, not a race. At the end, you will get there. So, take a look around you in this hall, as a matter of fact, that everyone around you it's very likely that they have been in a similar, if not the same circumstances you did at some point in time somewhere. Which reminds me of something, a term I read the other day. Sonder. Does anyone know the meaning of sonder? Sonder is the realization that everyone has a life as deep, as meaningful, as complex as your own. In short, this just means that everyone's a main character in their own life. So are you. So one is not alone in their sufferings, and is certainly not the only one to get back up. Now, let's say you've fallen behind. You truly do want to make progress. But the trip up the staircase isn't always easy. It isn't always cakewalk. Effort is needed. But with the right mindset, the right principles, the right strategy, the right perspective, it certainly is possible. So first, I want you all to think. Allow yourself to feel the pain. Feeling emotions is a very humane thing of us. It's probably the most humane thing of us. Suppressing such emotions, bottling them up, only prolongs its grip. It only allows it to linger around you longer, and trust me, that is anything but pleasant. So once you've acknowledged the pain, take some time, pause, think, and reflect. What has it taught you? What new insights have you gained? What new perspectives have emerged? Can your experience serve a greater good? Now, identify your why. This is the next step. This is where purpose begins to surface. As humans, as individuals, we all have this fire, this spark within us that pushes us to thrive for more, that pushes us to want to thrive for more, to want to thrive for progress. This little spark of motivation that helps us get out of bed every day and look forward to our day ahead. So please keep this spark alive, keep this hope alive. So now think, can your experience serve a greater good? Is there a skill, is there a strength you discovered through your struggle? Is there an entirely new personality trait that you discovered about yourself? Is there anything you need to work on? Anything you can share with others? Now, one must note that purpose is not just an idea. It's a call to action. Purpose is nothing without action. I'm sure you all have heard about the quote, "Actions speak way louder than words." Well, it definitely, most definitely speaks louder than thoughts. Having purpose is nothing without that next step. Now, every step, no matter how minimal, how minute, how small, contributes to a life of greater meaning, of greater impact out of your experiences. So now, take a look around you. There are countless examples. Let's say the artist who turns their deepest, darkest wounds into beautiful masterpieces. Let's say the advocate who turns their personal tragedy into policy change. Let's take, for example, the survivor who went through hardship, learned from them, and then used those lessons learned to inspire hope in others. Now, these are not people who simply went through their problems, went through their struggles, or numbed it. These are people who learned from it, embraced their problems, embraced their hardships, and the lessons learned from it, and further used that to inspire hope in others, not only benefiting themselves, but also benefiting society and those around them as well. So the next time you see your loved one, perhaps just anyone you know, maybe even your shoulder partner right now, if you see them in stress, you think that they might be struggling, they could use a shoulder to lean on, someone to talk to, share your experiences. Share the lessons you've learned and embraced. So maybe they can also shift their perspective on pain. Thank you.